Hi, this is Jason Molesky. In this example, we'll take a look at performing a chi-square test for homogeneity. Now, random digit dialing telephone surveys used to exclude cell phone numbers. If the opinions of people who have only cell phones differ from those who have landline service, the poll results may not represent the entire adult population. The Pew Research Center interviewed separate random samples of cell-only and landline telephone users who were less than 30 years old. Here's what the survey found about how those people describe their political party affiliation. You can see in this two-way table we have political affiliation, Democrat or lean Democratic, refuse to lean either way, Republican or lean Republican, and then we have the counts of individuals in the cell-only sample and the counts within the landline sample for a total of 200 individuals surveyed. Now our problem is to compare the distributions of political party affiliation for cell-only and landline phone users. We'll do this by constructing two side-by-side or a side-by-side segmented bar graph. Now, because the sample sizes are different, we should compare the proportions of individuals in each political affiliation, not just the counts. The table here shows the conditional distributions of political party affiliation for cell-only and landline phone users. So we can see that 51% of the cell-only users leaned Democrat, 16% had no leaning, and 33% leaned Republican. And likewise, we have similar percentages or proportions for the landline users. Now here's a segmented bar graph to compare those two distributions. And we can see here cell-only users appear slightly more likely to declare themselves as Democrats or Republicans than those people who have landlines. The people with landlines seem much more likely to say they don't lean either way, as represented by the green segment here, than those in the cell-only group. Now, do these data provide convincing evidence at the 5% level that the distribution of party affiliation differs in the cell-only and landline user populations? Well, to do that, we'll have to perform a chi-square test for homogeneity. Our null hypothesis is that there's no difference in the distribution of party affiliation in the two groups, and our alternative hypothesis is that there is a difference in the distribution of party affiliation in the cell-only and landline populations. And again, we'll use alpha equals 5%. Now, if the conditions are met, again, we should conduct a chi-square test for homogeneity. So we'll have to check our conditions. First of all, we have to note that the data come from independent random samples of 96 cell-only and 104 landline users. So our condition of random sampling is met. For the 10% condition, we have to ensure that our sample is less than 10% of the population size because we're sampling without replacement. So we need at least 960 cell-only users under the age of 30 and at least 1,040 landline users under the age of 30. This seems reasonable, so it's safe to assume that that condition is met. Finally, we need to check our large sample size and our large counts condition. Now, we need to look at the expected counts for each cell within our two-way table, and the best way to do that here is to just let the technology do the work. So we use the technology corner to get those expected counts, and looking at those, we can see we have no less than 20 expected in each of those cells. They're all greater than or equal to 5, so our large sample size condition is met. Now, to do this problem, we'll need to calculate our test statistic and our p-value. We'll let the calculator do the work, and the chi-square statistic in this particular case turns out to be 3.22. And using 2 degrees of freedom, because we had 3 categories, 3 rows and 2 columns, we get 2 degrees of freedom, we get a p-value of about 0.20. Or letting the technology do the work, we can see an exact chi-square value of 3.2199 and a p-value of 0.1999. Now, because this p-value, 0.2, is greater than our alpha of 0.05, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. There is not convincing evidence that the distribution of party affiliation differs in the cell-only and the landline user populations. Now, for some additional practice with chi-square tests for homogeneity, try exercise 33.